Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm going to show you how to send text messages using Relay. Your Relay assignment will start with you getting an email. To get going, just click on the link in the email and that will load up the Relay texting interface. You'll see when it loads up that there are three main sections to the interface. On the left side, you have the people that you're going to be texting. In the middle here, you have where the conversation is going to take place, including where you enter in the information that you want to say. And over on the right-hand side, your tools are going to show up, but those tools won't show up until you finish sending all of your initial messages. Now, your initial message has been loaded up by your admin. It's pretty much identical for each person. In this case, we're just changing the name each time. So you can see it says, "Hi, Jasmine. This is Daniel with Bartlett for President, and we're inviting Jasmine to a phone bank." So I'm going to go ahead and send each of these messages one by one, and you do have to press send on each message. The recipient is going to get it like any other text message on their phone. So we're done sending the messages and it says, "Nice work, you've sent all your initial messages." You'll get a notification when you get responses. So we're just going to wait for the responses. Now some responses of course are going to come right away. Some might come in an hour, and sometimes recipients don't respond for even a whole day. As soon as we get the responses, the tools are going to show up, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to manage those responses and record data. So here we have our first response from Nicole. She's saying sure and asking what time, and you can see over here our tools have shown up. So up here we have a description about the campaign that our admin has written. We have an archive and opt-out button. I'll show you what those do in just a moment. We have what are called survey questions, which is how you record data. And then down here we have what are called saved replies. And there are two types of saved replies. There's recommended replies, which are written by your admins for you. And then there's my replies, which are ones that you write for yourself. And within each of those, there's two types. So there's campaign-specific recommended replies, which are just for this campaign. And there's also what are called global recommended replies, which are going to be available for every campaign. And you can see what those recommended replies say by rolling over them here. Over here on the left side, you see we have a system of blue dots. Now that means that you have an unresponded to message. And if the message is bold, it means you haven't read it yet. So I'm going to show you how to respond to messages and record data. So Nicole again has said, sure, what time? So first things first, we're going to record her response as a yes. Now I'm going to scroll down to those recommended replies that have been written for me, and I see I have one for people who say yes. And it's going to tell Nicole where to go and what time. To use this recommended reply, I'm just going to press this plus button. It's going to drop it into where I send the message. I'm going to make sure it looks good, and I'm going to send it off. And you see, as soon as that happens, Nicole goes to the bottom and the blue dot goes away. So I'm going to go to my next one. Jasmine says, "Sorry, I can't this Saturday, but I will vote for Bartlett." So that's great. It's too bad she can't come, but we know she's going to vote for our guy. So I'm going to record her as a no, and I'm going to again go to my recommended replies. And I have one for people who are too busy. No worries, and I'm going to ask her to donate and remind her to cast her ballot. So I'm going to send that off, and again, the blue dot goes away. Now Alexa has said, "I might be able to, can you tell me a little bit more about the event?" So I'm going to record her as a maybe. I'm scrolling down again to my recommended replies, and I don't have a great one that's been written for this, so I have a few options here. I could write just a one-off response, or if I anticipate I might get this question again and again, I'm going to write my own saved reply. The way I do that is go to Manage Saved Replies, and I'm going to select this campaign, which is this training video, and I'm going to give it a title. We'll call it the More Info reply, and I'm going to say, "We will be calling likely voters and making sure that they are planning to vote for President Bartlett on November 8th. So that's my own saved reply that I can use, and when I go back to the texting interface, I can use this plus button just like a recommended reply and send this off to Alexa. Now that might seem like a lot of work to answer one question, but if you get the same question 2 or 3 or 4 times, it's going to help you a lot to write your own saved replies so you don't find yourself typing over and over again. Now Jin says, sorry, could you please take me off your list? So that's fine, that's gonna happen. We're texting a lot of people here. The way you handle that is with the opt-out button. So I'm gonna press opt-out, and then I have the option here of sending Jin a message at the same time as opting her out. In this case, the message would say, sorry, we're taking you off the list. We recommend that you do that, but in some cases it seems like someone might not appreciate that, and you can take that off as well. So I'm going to complete this opt-out, and it's really important that you finish the opt-out. You have to press this button, and that means Jin is never going to get another message from this Relay account. And you see she got removed from the list right here. Now here's another person, Catherine, says, I have a friend in town, can I bring a friend? So again, I'm going to record her as a yes. I'm going to go down here and use that recommended reply, that yes reply, but I need to edit it, and I can do that. So I don't just have to send it as is. I'm going to say, of course, the more the merrier. See you there. And I'll send that off. So the recommended replies can also serve as a template for something that you change. Now finally, Jillian says I can't, but she wants to do things maybe in the future. So I'm going to record her as a no, and I'm going to see what I have for my recommended replies. I have one for people who maybe want to do future events. So I'm going to use that. It says, we'll make sure you're on the list for future phone banks. And then I also have a survey question here about future events. So I'm going to note that Jillian wants to come to future events, and I will send that off. Now, if I'm done with a conversation, for example, with Nicole, she said she wants to come. I've told her where to go, and I want to keep my queue clean, so I'm only dealing with my active conversations. I can use the archive button. So this is just going to remove this conversation from the queue. And now if Nicole were to say something again, it would pop back up. But for now, it's just making it so I can focus on just the active conversations. Now you can see all of this has been built to be used on a computer. If you're using it on your phone or on an iPad, it will be very similar. It's just everything is going to shrink down a little bit. So don't worry if you're not using a computer. Relay can also be used on your phone or your iPad, whether it's iPhone or Android. And when you do that, you're going to be using it through your phone's browser, not through an app. So those are the basics of sending messages with Relay. Good luck and happy texting.